I'm going to show you how to create an HTML5 standing image gallery. It's very simple to set up. You can use JavaScript you want, or you can just use pure CSS3. Before we begin, quick reminder that I do a live stream every single day at 2 p.m. Eastern. You visit ojambo.com, go to watch menu and the live sub menu for details. And you're free to post any chat requests about programming or lifestyle topics. You can see here there's a direct link right to the live stream. If you want to do that, you can simply just watch the video. The video is also embedded in the video. I'll show you that where the video is when we scroll down. And also be sure to subscribe, like, follow, and leave comments for more frequent content. I would like to thank everybody who subscribed so far this month. Keep it up. It inspires me to make tutorials just like this one, just for you. Okay. There's a little surprise for you guys for this particular tutorial. I'll talk about it when we get to that part. You're gonna like this surprise. All right. As you can see here, I have a demonstration of the what do you call it, of the photo gallery, and there's also, this is just the banner for the article, but there should be a live demo down in the article, and also I'll show you how you can modify it to your for your specifications. All right. So as I said before, it's going to be using HTML5 and CSS3 to build a beautiful and interactive image gallery. This is perfect for showcasing your photos, your artwork, and any visual content. So do not worry, even if you're new to web development, you'll be able to follow along. This tutorial will break down the code step by step, and you understand how it works. What we're going to build is we're going to build something that's visually appealing, clean design, and subtle effects. It's going to be responsive, means it will look great on all devices, desktops, tablets, and phones. And it's going to be interactive, meaning that there'll be a neat hover effect to reveal the image captions. What that means is that it's like a mouse over. I prefer using hover, but I guess hover is something that developers use. So the mouse over is for, I guess, in layman terms. Alright, so the code is right here. You can simply get the HTML code here, the CSS styling. So I split them up so that way you can modify the parts that you need, and JavaScript for interactivity. So as I said before, you don't need to use JavaScript, but JavaScript makes it more not cross-platform, but more cross-browser support. So meaning that it will be able to work obviously today and in the future as well. And obviously in the future you can simply just move the JavaScript if all the functionality is available. So remember, this is one of the things that I'm teaching you guys about coding, is when you code, always use the language obviously you're most comfortable with, and try to make it sure that it's easier to maintain in the future. So for example, trying to implement everything in pure CSS sometimes doesn't make sense if you know, 1 or 2 lines of JavaScript will be better. Now if you're adamant about doing it with CSS, then go ahead, but I'm saying you don't want to have like thousands of lines when JavaScript will be better in that case. Obviously when that functionality comes to CSS, yeah, then absolutely go to CSS. For example, like when some of the GPU stuff can be offloaded right in CSS, then of course use CSS, absolutely. Okay, so I'm not going to talk about this breakdown here. You guys can read it because I'm going to actually go over the code. So I'm going to skip this part here, and same with the styling, because I said I'm going to talk about that when we talk about the styling. And you see here's a demo. So the demonstration, for example, you see this says mountain scene. You see when I took it over, it changed. It says a beautiful mountain landscape. You see this one says city at sunset. If I mouse over, it says a beautiful cityscape with a skyscraper. And this one here says king of the jungle. See, then it says a majestic lion resting in the African, I guess it's jungle, I believe it is. And this is the beach day. If I go over, it says relaxing day at the beach. And then the last one says sea boat. I put over, it says boat sailing on the sea. Right, so that's it. And obviously these are just screenshots, as you can see here. And when you hover over, it explains it. I've just done that in demo. And here is the video I was talking about, where you can watch this live. I'll click the video later. Let's go over to the code now. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit. So obviously you start with a doc type. You don't need the language here, but that's perfectly fine if you want to add it there. It doesn't hurt anything. I don't need the char cell because I'm using Linux or a POS system, which is default is UTF-8. I believe in the past, I don't know if it's still valid because I don't use Windows. Windows used to use UTF-16, so you might need to change this still for that. And then the viewport here, this is for the smaller screens, basically mobile phones. Set the device width to the device width and initial scale to set to 1. So this way it will be like, if you, I don't know how to explain it, but zoomed in, so it's easier to view on the on a mobile device or devices with smaller screens. Okay, and basically I set the basic styling for the body. I set the font family to sans serif. I set the margin 20 pixels and the border color just a little. It's off-white. I don't know what you call that. It's like eggshell type white. As you can see, it's not quite. You can see this is white. This part is not. It's just off-white-ish. Just slight little gray in there. The H1, that's for this part here. It says interactive photo gallery. So that one I set for the center, and I gave it a color of. It's a very dark gray. It's almost black. And then the container, that's the one that contains our 5 thumbnails, if you will. And I set that to display Flexbox, and flex wrap, I set to wrap. What that means is that if it doesn't have enough space to contain an item, it will drop it to the next row. And I set to justify center. That's how we center the entire gallery. Okay, and each gallery item, so each of these is a gallery item. You see it's its own container. It basically contains the thumbnail and the caption, and there's a that's a gallery item. I set the width to 300 pixels. So you can imagine on a phone as of 2025, maybe in portrait mode, you'll probably only be able to fit one of these items. Obviously, if you go to landscape mode, it might fit 2, 3 or more. And then I give it a margin. So you see this little margin here, a margin everywhere, top, right, bottom, left, 10 pixels. I gave it a border of 1 pixel, solid DDD. So solid DDD is it's like a mid grayish color, as you can see right here. The overflow hidden, meaning that, for example, if the text is too long, it will be hidden. So the reason I did that is to fit everything onto one line. What else did we do here? Box shadow. So box shadow is this one here, and you can see I put 0, 2 pixels, 5 pixels, and RGBA 0.1. So 000, that means black. RGBs goes from 0 to 255. 255 is white. So 000 is black. And the 0.1, that's the A in RGBA, that's for alpha. So we set it to 0.1. So meaning that 1 will be fully opaque. Obviously, 0 will be fully transparent. So 0.1 means you can still barely see it. That's the one I'm going for. And then the transition, meaning that when I go over or mouse over, it will transform 0.3 seconds or 300 milliseconds, ease in and out, meaning to ease in and then ease out. And then on the hover state, that's where our transition will happen when it first comes up. And transform the scale, it will be, so the entire, this thing will get slightly bigger from, obviously the initial scale is 1 to 1.05. And then the image itself, this one here, make it 100% of the container, which is, remember, 300 pixels here, and we'll give it a height of 200 pixels, so we'll give it a fixed height. And object cover, well, that means that if the image is bigger than 200 pixels, obviously, on the height, what will happen is, or if it's smaller, it will just scale up to cover our entire it will cover our entire the container. So because we don't want, for example, if an image was really small, it would be like this. So that won't look nice. So we want to cover so they're all consistent. And obviously, now the images I used are perfect squares, but as you can see, this is not a square because 300 by 200, you know, that's not a square, right? So so that's why we use cover as well, and then set it to display block. And then for the caption here, we have a separate container for that. We give it a padding. You can see here there's a padding because we don't want it to, you know, to be flush on the left, top, bottom, or the right. So 10 pixels all around, top, bottom, left, and right, and give it a background color of FFFF, so that means white. And the border is going to have a border top of 1 pixel solid EEE, which is another grayish color. And then the caption itself, we set it to italics, as you can see here, and its color is 555, which is also another grayish color. And the overflow, meaning that if it's too much, it will be hidden. And if the text overflow is going to be ellipsis. If you don't know what ellipsis means, it means that you see these 3 dots. That is done by, using CSS. So there's no JavaScript doing that. It's just CSS to do that. And then, of course, white space no wrap means that we want it all on one line. Okay, and then after that, we have a responsive design here, meaning that if the device width is 600 pixels or smaller, what will happen is the gallery item, each of these items, it will take up 90% of the width. So that way we still have our margins and everything. Because if we say 100%, when people scroll, especially on touch devices, you know, they might be touching it, which you don't want. So want to leave some space so they'll be able to scroll. So that's why it's set to 90%. So that's our styling. And then here, this is H1 here. It says interactive photo gallery with HTML5 and CSS3. And this is a gallery container. That means it contains all of these guys. And each item, you can see it's gallery item. And then the image source to the image. If you notice the name here of each of these images, it says templates by Vlad. So that's, and it says underscore base v01. So some of you guys might recognize that, and that is from the Stable Diffusion, which I did using Stable Diffusion Next, or sd.next. So all these images you see here, they're all generated, they're all AI images. And I generated them in like about 20 seconds or less. So the captions here, and then for there's a caption container, and I also then inside the caption container is a paragraph or p tag, and you can see here, for example, this first one, the text it says mountain scene, and then I have an attribute called data -origin -caption, which says a beautiful mountain landscape with lush greenery and a clear blue sky. So if you remember, when I hover over, it swaps out this text for the data for the data attribute one. And then we have the same thing for the city as sunset, the one for the king of the jungle, the lion, and then we have one for the beach day, and we have another one, the last one, for the seaboard. And then we have some JavaScript here. So we could have done all this stuff using using CSS, but as I said before, we'll have to write so much code. It's just much easier to use JavaScript. So just a few lines of JavaScript. I grab all the items, and then for each of those items, I grab obviously the caption, and then then the data attribute. So then what happens? We see mouse enter. When you enter, what happens is the text content will be changed to the original caption. That's one in the data attribute. And then when you leave, you see here it says mouse leave. Then we will restore and then add ellipsis. So that's it. That's the code. It's all done. Now I want to show you the folder where all this stuff is. So as you can see here, you see this one, the lion. I can also make them what do you call it? you see basically the sd.next, it generated these images, but it gave me JPEG files. So what I did is I converted them to AVF files. But sometimes, for example, see this AVF file, it's 68.4 kilobytes, and what's the JPEG? Yeah, so it's much smaller. They are 1024 by 1024, so that's really good that the AI was able to generate them in like 20 seconds or less. That's because I'm using the AMD Instinct MI60 with the Rocom drivers. I'm on Fedora Linux on Wayland as well, so it's able to generate. Now, I'll talk about this later in a future tutorial, but what I found was because I used that GPU for the live stream, so even though for the live stream I'm only using it to record, for example, right now this live stream is being recorded using the AMD Instinct MI60 GPU, which has 32 gigs of HBM2 memory. I also have, because I'm using a Ryzen 5 5600 GT, so the G obviously stands for GPU, the integrated GPU. That's the one I'm using to actually live stream this video. So the funny thing is, so I was just using a little bit of the dedicated GPU, but even that's why I was not able to get good images last time when I did a live stream. And however, when the live stream was over, I was able to generate these images much faster, like twice as fast, and without any issues. They all came out. This was just on the first try, and you see they all came out really well. All right. Now, with that said, you don't need a web server for this. You can simply just drag this into your. You can drag that into your what do you call it? Into your favorite web browser. Obviously, it has to be a modernish web browser in order to obviously handle like AVF files. All right. So with that said, let me open up. I'm going to use Chromium here, and then I'm going to go and simply. I'll put it here just to show you. See, this is stunning-gallery.html. That's the one I've opened up here. Just take it and drag it here, and you can see it opened up. So now I'll make this a little bit easier for my people who are watching on vertical screens, so you can see. As you can see, the titles up here: interactive photo gallery with HTML5 and CSS3. Now you can see the first photo. It says a beautiful mountain landscape. It has the ellipses. Now if I go over it, you see, then it says a beautiful mountain landscape. Then it has the text has changed, and you see the size is also big. If you compare it, if you compare the first image where my mouse cursor is to the next one, it's slightly bigger. Remember that's where the 1.05 comes in. If I go to the second one, you see the first image, it went back to its original size, and also has the original caption. Sorry, the default caption, I should say that. And you see now this one, a bustling cityscape with skyscrapers. So I'm now going to go to the. You see my mouse is off. It went back, just saying a bustling cityscape with sky. You see that's kind of clipped off. And you see now if I go to line, which is the third image, a king of the jungle, put my mouse over that, you see it got a little bit bigger, like I zoomed in, which it really did. It did zoom in, and it says a majestic lion resting in the African. Obviously it's clipped off. And then the fourth image, relaxing day at the beach, and I go over, you see now it's zoomed in a little bit, it's bigger, and it says relaxing day at the beach, water is, it's clipped off again because I wanted everything to be on one line. And then the last one says seaboat. That's the default caption. And when I go over it, you see it got a little bit bigger. And it says boat sailing on the sea with great, and then then it got clipped off with ellipses. Ellipses are the three dots, as I said before. So that's the gallery right there. Very simple photo gallery. Okay, and obviously you can tweak this to have it rotate. Where you show one. I've done lots of tutorials on those type of things just using CSS3. I think I did one. I don't think I've done one with JavaScript. I think it's always been just CSS3, and that's it. So that's that's the tutorial. See, just go over. It's nice and smooth, and also works on the phone. Now, to show you this working on the phone, I would have to start a web server. So I'm just going to go to the terminal and I'll show you how to do that. I'm going to use the console here, and I don't need to be that big, so just leave it. Okay, I don't need this to be this big, but I'm going to zoom in and I'm going to clean this up a little bit so you guys can see. So I'm going to use PHP. You can use any web server, it doesn't really matter. And in this case, I'm going to use 0.0.0.0 colon 8000. So the reason I use 0.0.0, so that way there'll be multiple ways you can actually get to this web server. And one more time, if you want to know the IP address, you can obviously go to your router, or if you're on Windows, you type ipconfig on the command line. If you're on POS systems, that's Unix, obviously Mac OS, Linux, BSD, you type ipconfig. And then somewhere here, where are we? It should give, yeah, right here. See, it tells me my IP address. This one right here. So it's 106. So what I do is I'm going on my phone. I have Wi-Fi on, and I'm going to use a Chrome browser there, and then I'm going to type 1. Okay, I'm there. What is the name of this file? It's 8000 / stunning. Oh, I just realized I should actually switch on the phone, and then I can I think I'll start doing that in the future. Gallery .html. There we go. So I'm going to show you this. You see, it's on the phone as well. Okay, and let me see, I should be able to touch. It's hard to see because yeah, there we go. So yeah, so it also works on the phone. Obviously there's no mouse over event, so you can use click for the phone, especially. Remember, we have a dedicated one for the phone. And you see the phone here, so this is a portrait mode. If I switch it over to, you see that 2 photos I think fit. Yeah, there you go, 2 of them fit, and I can still you see, there we go, I can still scroll as well. So obviously if I had a tablet, it would just look just like the desktop. All right, so that's it. And obviously when you use 000, you can also do it here. For example, here I can simply type 192.1.106 colon 8000, and let me just copy this name because I don't want to type it. There we go, you see? That's it, right there. So as I said before, you don't need a web server, you can simply just drag and drop because it's just HTML. But if you do have a web server, you can just go to it and it will show up there. That's it. So let's finish up this article here. And this is the, so obviously I can close this now. Just Control C and it will close. I don't need the terminal anymore. Alright, as I said, this is the video. This is live. So let's finish up this article here. There you go, you see it's live. Okay, so the JavaScript, as I said before, is optional. That's obviously using the script tag. And if you want to learn more, this gallery is just the beginning. As I said before, to truly master web development, you want to understand the fundamentals of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. I recommend checking out my resources. I have a learning JavaScript book I wrote it to be beginner friendly, and it's available on Amazon. You can search for Editor Jumbo. The links are also in the description. I also have a learning JavaScript course on ujumboshop.com. You can find a comprehensive course about JavaScript. Actually, even last year in 2024, I created several JavaScript tutorials based on the book and the course, and I was actually using the course web IDE for that. And if you need one-on-one help, I offer one-on-one programming tutorials, learning JavaScript, to help you get personal guidance and take your skills to the next level. Contact me to schedule a session at ojumbo.com/contact. Okay, the link is also in the description for the book, the course, and obviously how to contact me. And in conclusion, so congratulations, you have successfully built a basic HTML5 image gallery using HTML5 and CSS3. You can adapt and customize it to suit your needs. Keep experimenting, practicing, and learning. The world of web development is full of possibilities. Happy coding. Now, that's the end of the tutorial. However, I do wanna let you guys know that every single day I do a live stream at 2 p.m. Eastern. You visit ojumbo.com, you go to watch many live submenu, you can see the topics for this and upcoming tutorials. And also be sure to subscribe, like, follow, and leave comments for more tutorials. I'd like to thank everybody who subscribed so far this month. Thank you very much. And I also have some other recommended resources. As you guys know, I'm in a rural area, and I use satellite internet. Specifically, I use the SpaceX Styling. So it works very well. For example, right now I'm doing this live stream right on Starlink. And as I said before, my phone, the signal here is not very good for the cellular signal. So I do use Wi-Fi calling, and it works very, very well as well. I think actually when I picked up the phone to show you the gallery, you guys heard that little text message that came in. So it also works perfect for text message. Basically, if you don't know what Wi-Fi calling is a way where you can be anywhere in the world. As long as you have access to the internet, you'll be able to receive and make calls as if you are in your so-called home location. So that's significant savings for you. For example, if I was here, I'll be having to use I'd have to get a special tower put up, or I would have to be on roaming, which would cost probably close to thousands of dollars. But with that, I just pay my regular fee. All right. So if you do click on this link and you purchase the Starlink residential service, it's an affiliate link. So it's actually a referral link. If you do sign up, I'll get 1 month free. So if you're thinking of getting Starlink, especially the residential service, I would recommend you use my link. I haven't put the link in any of the descriptions yet, but I might do that for upcoming tutorials. I'm just trying to think of if referrals or affiliate links work. So this is just a test one. If they do, yeah, I'll start putting them in there. I'm trying to think maybe I should put them, for example, if I'm doing something tech related, I'll put it there, and then if it's something else I like, I might put I might just start putting them specifically for those tutorials or so. All right, now with that said, I'm checking the live chat. I don't see any chat requests, so I'm going to end this now, and I'll see you guys tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern. So with that, I leave you and see you tomorrow.